Welcome back to Summer Year 2, Days 3 through 6 of the Stardew Valley Min-Max and 100% Perfection Guide. We've got quite a bit to accomplish over these few days, including progress towards perfection by acquiring some of the final crafting recipes and leveling up friendship, and we'll actually visit the movie theater for the first time to help with that. We'll also continue maximizing profits by expanding our tapper production and crafting more kegs to hold even more starfruit to turn into wine. We'll do some grinding in the mines, Skull Cavern, and the volcano, where we'll also visit the forge to re-enchant our axe and pickaxe, and I'll also try out some animation canceling for the first time, which will make the swift enchantment obsolete. And with that, we'll also end up with a new hammer with the Crusader enchantment, so we'll try that out in Skull Cavern to see if it can be of any use. Let's get started with day 3, where we'll be giving out more gifts for Key's Kindness quest. So we'll go ahead and grab a bunch of gift items to give out. It's also a starfruit wine cycle day, so we'll craft some more tappers to place with our oak resin tappers. We'll head out to town now and give out the usual assortment of love gifts to Jazz, Marnie, Shane, Vincent, Sam, Haley, Emily, Kent, Elliot, Lewis, Penny, George, Evelyn, Harvey, and Maru. Phew, that's 15 NPCs right there. And we actually give something a little different to Alex, a movie ticket. It turns out we also need to buy a ticket for ourselves, so I go ahead and do that, then enter the theater. While we are in the theater lobby, time will still pass, so be aware of that. As you can see, I wasted some time enjoying my surroundings, but that's okay. We go ahead and talk to the concession person and buy a salmon burger for Alex. NPCs will either love, like, or dislike the concession you buy for them, and it will reward 50, 25, or 0 friendship points respectively. You can check out the movie theater page on the Stardew Wiki to see all the different concession options and which NPCs like what. We enter the theater, and the reason I chose to see the movie with Alex is of course because we still need hearts with him, but also because I thought the theater would be playing the movie Wumbus, which Alex loves and is listed as the Summer Year 2 movie, but turns out I read the page wrong, and the movie cycle begins the year you restore the movie theater, and since we restored the movie theater in year 2, we get the year 1 movies first, so we will be seeing Journey of the Prairie King, the motion picture. Taking an NPC to a loved movie awards 200 friendship points, but Alex only likes this movie, so we receive 100 friendship points. If the NPC dislikes the movie, we would get 0 friendship points. Again, you can see all the NPC movie preferences on the wiki. Since we got Alex a loved concession, and so I liked movie with him, we gain a total of 150 friendship points with him. After the movie, we give Alex a rabbit's foot, which puts us at 8 hearts with him, so we can gift him a bouquet and begin dating him. We just have Elliot and Harvey left to date now. We give Abigail an amethyst and then head over to the bus stop area and begin cycling the starfruit wine kegs. While we're here, we give Pam a parsnip, then continue cycling the kegs here, along the road, and inside of the tunnel. After all the kegs here are cycled, we stop at the carpenter shop to give Sebastian a void egg, then head up to the railroad area to harvest all our oak resin tappers. We also place down the 8 new tappers we crafted earlier on the oak trees that are free, and then a couple on maple trees as well. After collecting all the tapped goods, we give a gift to the dwarf and Clint, then head back to the farm. We put our stuff away and craft 50 new kegs, then enter our first starfruit wine keg shed and cycle the current kegs in there. Then after that, place down the new kegs to fill up the whole shed, which can fit a total of 137 kegs. We throw some starfruit in the new kegs, and since we still have more kegs to place, we can begin filling a second shed with kegs, so we go ahead and place them down and throw in the starfruit. I believe we are now at a total of 446 kegs, and that number will keep growing every week. There's just a few hours left in the day, so we head to the mines and try to grind for some loot. We get an assortment of monster drops, but only find 6 radioactive ore. We pass out and move on to day 4, a neutral luck day. First thing we do is try to harvest some of the hot peppers, since we need to harvest 100 for the crop order quest, and Junimo harvests do not actually count towards this number, only manual harvests, but we'll have quite a few harvests, so we'll certainly be able to harvest enough. Next we go back inside to give Krobus a gift and cycle the cheese casks. We get organized, then head over to the ranch and give a gift to Marnie, then a fairy rose to Jazz for her birthday, which puts us at 10 hearts with her. We warp back to the farm to save some time walking, then head over to Clint to give him a gift, and then sell 214 iridium bars for 321,000 G. What do we need all this money for? We'll see soon. We give a gift to the dwarf, then make an extremely important purchase of the rare crow, and this one is the last one we need to collect, and soon we'll get a recipe in the mail for the deluxe scarecrow, which is one of the last recipes we need for the craft everything goal. We now head over to the place you may have never thought we'd return to, the Adventurers Guild. Turns out we have some rewards to pick up from Gil, including Marlin's phone number for the item recovery service, which we won't ever use, and then some other items we won't ever use. But there had to be a good reason to come here, right? Sorta. I decided to blow 75,000 G on another galaxy hammer. And the sole purpose of this galaxy hammer will be to take it to the Volcano Forge and enchant it, so we can skip over an enchantment iteration when looking at the predictor, and then enchant our axe for the shaving enchantment, which we want. Why would we not use a cheaper weapon for this? Well, it'll make a little more sense shortly. We warp back to the farm to put some stuff away, then warp to the desert. We get our weekly supply of magic rock candy and forage the desert while we're here. Then we head inside the oasis and give Sandy a daffodil, which is the last loved gift needed to give out to complete the Keys Kindness Challenge, which awards us 40 key gems. Looks like we're at 170 key gems now, total. Might want to consider spending them soon. We use the rest of our money to buy over 600 starfruit seeds that we'll use for our next island starfruit harvest, which will be on day 6. We warp back to the farm yet again and collect the jades and mushrooms, then pet the animals, then warp over to the beach. We travel to Ginger Island and head straight for the volcano. We'll be enchanting at the forge in a bit, but first let's grind some loot in the volcano while we're here. The new Infinity Gavel makes quick work of the enemies here, quite a noticeable difference compared to the Galaxy Hammer. It should be saving us a bit of time, as we can slay most enemies in one hammer smash spam. With the normal Galaxy Hammer, it seemed like if we got lucky with lots of hit from the smash spam at once, or even a critical hit, we could slay enemies in one go, but it was not as reliable as there were many times the enemy would live on. This is most annoying with flying enemies like serpents or magma spirits that will fly away, and then you'll have to wait for them to fly back to finish them off. It ends up taking way too much time. So with the Infinity Gavel here, we do a bit more damage, and it seems to allow for more consistent one smash slays. I definitely just made up that term, but we'll roll with it. We end up gathering 80 cinder shards in one volcano run, which is a pretty good amount. We make it up to the forge, and now let's take a quick look at the enchantment predictor to figure out how to get shaving on our axe in the least amount of enchants. We are currently on enchantment iteration number 18, so if we take a look here, we can see that if we enchant our axe, we'll get either swift or efficient. And our goal is shaving, so we do have to do one filler iteration here, and we would normally just do the axe twice, but you'll see here that we do have powerful on it right now, and if we have powerful on it, then we would get swift, and then the problem with that is if we have swift on it, the next iteration, we would get powerful again, and we want shaving. We do have powerful right now, so if we don't enchant the axe here, and just enchant this one, we would get shaving, so we have to enchant something else, and we don't want to change our pickaxe, hoe, watering can, or fishing rod, or current weapon, because all of those have enchantments that we like, so we just end up buying a filler weapon, since we can buy as many weapons as we please, and then enchant that, and we just get Crusader on it here. Doesn't really matter what the enchantment is, but it skips over that iteration. Now we're on iteration 19, and since we have powerful, we can now get the shaving enchantment. We follow what we found with the predictor and enchant the hammer with the Crusader enchantment and the axe with the shaving enchantment. Of course, we could have saved money by enchanting a cheaper weapon, but since we ended up getting the Crusader enchantment, I wanted to test it out to see if it'll be of any use at Skull Cavern, so we'll see that shortly. Next up, we mine some quick bone nodes and give the island fruit trees a shake, then enter the golden walnut room, where we will use our last 3 golden walnuts on 6 more key gems, and now have 176 key gems to spend. I purchased the magic bait recipe and the hopper recipe, and now we only have one crafting recipe left to obtain, which is for the solar panel, so hopefully we'll get Caroline's special order sometime soon. I spend 20 more key gems on 4 pressure nozzles, which we might use in our greenhouse soon, and I decide to save the rest of the key gems as I'm unsure what else to spend them on right now. We're gonna chop down some trees now while we're at the island, and you may be thinking, well, it's gonna take a lot longer since we no longer have the Swift enchantment. But here's when I finally start implementing animation canceling, which greatly speeds up chopping. To cancel your current animation, you must press the right shift, delete, and R key all at the same time, and then the current animation your character is in will just end, and you can input new commands like moving around or use the tool again. Basically, to animation cancel, we want to first press the left click to swing our axe or use any other tool, and then as soon as possible, press the right shift, delete, and R key all at the same time. And you might be thinking, well, that's an awkward key arrangement to press all at once, and that is where macros come in. A macro is a combination or sequence of inputs defined by a script that we can write. The easiest and most user-friendly way to do this is probably with AutoHotkey, where we can write a simple script to run, and then it'll first input the action button, then a few frames later input the right shift, delete, and R key to execute the animation cancel, and we'll bind this macro to whatever key is convenient. I bound it to the spacebar. I won't go much more in depth right now, since there is a lot of resources online that are quick and easy to follow if you want to set up a macro for animation canceling yourself. And of course, this will only work with PC, and is definitely a bit of a gray area in the game, since I am using an external tool here to input keystrokes, but I've also been using the predictor, and even the wiki could be argued an external tool to an extent, so we won't worry too much now, since this is a more casual run, but we'll definitely have to keep some of these thoughts in mind for future runs. We had warped back to the farm and began to craft some of the random recipes that we haven't yet, and some of these random items will be thrown in the deconstructor to get the most valuable material back, most notably with the lamppost to get those battery packs back. Moving on to day 5, another neutral luck day. We smelt some ores, then checked the mail, and indeed, we received the recipe for the deluxe scarecrow. We warped to the desert for a skull cavern dive, and hey, remember that hammer we enchanted with the Crusader enchantment? Well, it's actually quite interesting that we ended up with that enchantment, since I recently received a pretty insightful comment regarding the Crusader enchantment and whether or not it has potential in Skull Cavern. So what does the Crusader enchantment actually do? Well, the weapon enchanted with it will deal 50% more damage to ghosts, skeletons, void spirits, and mummies, but the main appeal is that mummies slayed with this weapon will be permanently slayed, rather than fall into the ground and then required to blow up to be slain. So at first thought, the Crusader hammer does have some potential, since Skull Cavern has quite a few mummies, and being able to slay some faster may end up saving some time. As you can see here, we can fairly consistently one smash slay mummies, and of course our main hammer can knock the mummies to the ground in one hit, but we must then lay down a bomb, which takes quite a bit of time to blow up, where we also use explosive ammo with the slingshot, which can be used pretty quickly, so perhaps it is just better to use our main hammer. Of course, with the Crusader hammer, we also save on the resources required to craft bombs and explosive ammo with, but then another downside is the extra hammer would take up a slot in our inventory, and we all know how precious inventory slots are in Skull Cavern. Also, our current Crusader hammer is not a great test subject here, since it's not modified with gems or upgraded to the Infinity version like our main hammer is, but it likely won't be worth the resources to upgrade. The usefulness also depends on the type of dive we're doing, since with some dives, we use more crafted staircases than normal, so we'll likely just skip over floors full of mummies anyway, since skipping a floor is much quicker than clearing the enemies there. But of course, there are also times we don't skip as many floors, and might want to slay some mummies for loot anyways, so maybe the Crusader hammer would actually help in those situations. It was definitely interesting to try out, and maybe I'll use it again sometime, but ultimately, I don't think it's worth the resources to upgrade to get on par damage with our main hammer, and I really don't want to use up another inventory slot with it in Skull Cavern. And then there's the Bug Killer enchantment, but we'll save that one for another time. We end up only making it to floor 105, but do collect a decent 371 iridium ore. Day 6 is a super luck day, which we can't take advantage of at Skull Cavern since we have a starfruit harvest to tend to at the island. After all the farm chores are taken care of, we warp to the beach and then take the boat to Ginger Island. We bring our seeds purchased the other day and begin harvesting the starfruit and replanting it with the starfruit seeds at the same time. This does not take up much time, and we head over to the volcano before noon and up to the forge to re-enchant our pickaxe. Since I decided to try out animation canceling, we can get a bit more efficiency out of the pickaxe by putting the powerful enchantment on it, so some rocks take less hits to mine, and we'll still have fast swing speed with the animation canceling. We head back down and enter the volcano, since we can take advantage of the super luck here at least. Soon into the run, we obtain our final journal scrap, and these aren't needed for perfection or anything, but it is nice to have the complete collection now. We make quick work of the enemies with Infinity Gavel, one smash slaying most enemies here. We also get to try out the powerful enchantment on the pickaxe, and the most noticeable difference is here in the volcano with the normal stone rocks that would normally take 2 hits to mine, but with the powerful enchantment only take 1. We finish up the volcano run and warp back to the farm and cycle some machinery. Next we use 119 radioactive ore to craft 119 hyper speed-gro, which boosts grow time by 33% as opposed to deluxe speed-gro's 25%. I decide it's finally time to remodel the greenhouse, since we don't really need the coffee, strawberries, and ancient fruit growing in it right now. Those are all regrowable crops, which I don't really like for the greenhouse, since we are stuck with them. If we grow crops that don't grow back, we can switch what we plant every harvest. I use the pickaxe and animation cancel to quickly clear the greenhouse, since we do need to untill the land to place the new fertilizer down. We'll of course be placing the hyper speed grow we just crafted, which will allow us to grow starfruit in 7 days as opposed to 8 with deluxe speed grow. Starfruit will of course be the most profitable crop to grow in the greenhouse, but we'll also be able to plant any other crops if we wish. After hoeing and watering the land, we place down sprinklers with pressure nozzles to cover all of the greenhouse tiles. It is best to place the sprinklers outside of the farmland so we can maximize the amount of plantable spaces. Using 5 iridium sprinklers with pressure nozzles, we can cover all the tiles and only need to use 1 sprinkler on the farmland, so we'll have 119 plantable spaces. This will be another 119 starfruit per week, and what's nice about the greenhouse is we can grow any crop during any season, and the speed grow will remain there, so if we randomly need any other crops at any time, we can grow them here. It's getting late, but we do manage to plant all of the starfruit seeds with hyper speed grow, which will bring us to the end of this day and the end of this video. We managed to accomplish quite a bit today, including progress towards the craft everything and friendship perfection goals, and continue to maximize profit with more kegs and more starfruit harvests. It was also fun to try out animation canceling and experiment with the Crusader hammer. Next time, we'll be setting up our second starfruit pot shed, but we don't have enough clay, so we'll have to try out a min-max strategy typically used on the very first day of runs nowadays, so that should be interesting. We'll also attend the luau, which will help with friendship, and we'll also continue to min-max towards perfection, and if you're looking forward to what's to come in future videos, please consider subscribing so you can be sure to see them when they come out. And don't forget to leave a comment with anything you'd like to ask or share. I always greatly appreciate the comments. As always, thank you for watching, and goodbye.